Hi guys, Andy with here, part 2 of the Sirius build. Now, last time I got it all together and I was talking about paint and stuff. One thing that's always sort of been at the back of my mind is painting these things to look like worn and rusted and metallic and stuff. Thing is, even these days, a lot of weapons aren't even got many metal bits in it apart from the barrel and a few springs and stuff. So I'm just wondering how to work that out. Now, I know I posted a little graphic on there with 4 different designs, and I'm definitely going to do one of them, probably the top one. I'm just wondering about the wear and tear aspect of it. So what's it underlyingly made of at the core that gets to be shown? And no matter what I think of, I keep coming back to the same problem is, if I show wear on it, and I'm saying it's made of heavy-duty synthetic plastic or something, what colour is that plastic going to be? White, black, whatever? Green? Who knows? And these days, some pistols, handles, and furniture, they're solid plastic. So no matter how much it's worn, it's still the same colour all the way through. So all you do is show is dirt. So I'm just going to paint this. I'm going to give this a light dusting of undercoat, which is grey. So when I pull it apart, I can see where paint has to be and paint doesn't have to be, because there's still things I want to do inside, but I'm waiting for bits and pieces. So I'll get on with the grey undercoat. And once it's even got a grey undercoat, even if you can see the other colours underneath, you'll see it starts to come together. It starts to be, a uniform thing. Okay, first thing, all out of grey spray paint, grey primer. So that's no good. However, I did find this. This is a grey primer filler for automotive repairs. And I did use it once before on some 3D printer stuff, and it gave me a reasonable look. Once you sand it down, the layer lines are just a little less noticeable. But I'm going to give it a shot on this, and I'm going to do the same thing. The only problem with this is it was very cold and the nozzle was clogged, and when I was spraying it, I was coming out like plasticine, or silly putty, or whatever you want to call it. But I've changed the nozzle, and I'm getting, I think it's because it's cold, it's clumping up a bit too much. But basically, that's all I need it to do. For when I pull it apart, I'll see what parts need painting and what parts I can leave. What do you do to get rid of your layer lines? I've used this filler spray before. I've rubbed surfaces with Tamini putty and rubbed it in all over. I think I did that on the plasma rifle. But years ago I got sent this. This is a, I think it's called a Big Shot, from Rainbow in Germany. And it's an inline clip. It holds, without the silencer, it holds 3 rounds. With it, it holds 6. But what he's done, you can probably see the layers there. I'll try and get it close enough for you to see. It's very hard the way I've got the lighting. You can probably see them, but it is smooth as glass. He apparently spent ages sanding this. On the body of the pistol, there's a few areas where you can see where he didn't get in quite close enough, but it's nothing greatly noticeable. But that's the thing. I'd like to know what people do to get rid of their layer lines, if they do at all. Because the way technology is going, in the future, there'll probably be 3D printing weapons. So I'll just cover it a little bit more of this. And having a turntable when you're doing spray painting is brilliant. This is a homemade one. It's just a piece of chipboard, a piece of masonite, and another piece of chipboard. And the masonite has got a series of holes around it. In each one there's a marble. And you just sandwich them together with a single screw. So, homemade turntable. Very easy to do. Alright guys, I'll let that dry and get back to the other side soon. Right, hi guys, Andy work back. But we're back to finishing off the Sirius, thank goodness. Now, one thing Rance does, he gives you 2 cheek rests for the butt. A short one, which I put on, and a long one. I'm actually liking the look of the long one now, so I'm not going to put that on. It's like it's just a press fit. that one fit on a lot better. That one might be just a little bit tight. It's really weird. Okay, well, I know how to do it now, so that's good. So I fitted that. Now, as you can see, I've given it a light dusting of just undercoat. The reason for this is I'm going to sand this surface now, all these surfaces. Yeah, I know it's going to be a nightmare, but I want to get it a bit smoother, look at a bit more like a polished production weapon from like an industrial society. So you don't need much water with this stuff. Problem is people tend to slather it on all over the place, and it's not necessary. Right, hi guys, it's a bit dark here because it's winter in sunny Australia, so it's freezing cold and gets dark early. I sprayed that with this auto body filler stuff from SCA, super cheap auto, and I've sanded it with 800 grit wet and dry. It's reasonably smooth, it's quite nice, but what I'm going to do, I've masked off one side, I'm going to spray this side again, sand it again, see if it makes any great difference. Like, you can see lines there, but you really can't feel them or hear any sort of chattering as the fingernail goes across it. So I'll just spray that with the second coat. We'll see what happens. Alright, so I'll leave that to dry. I'm reasonably confident that even one coat's going to be good enough. So what I'm going to do is I've disassembled the rest of the blaster. I'm going to bring up the parts to be painted, and I'll put the coat on them anyway. So back in a sec. Alright, hi guys. Next day, and there's actually some blue sky in this air. So let's have a look. So that's our second coat. And this side's got our single coat that's been sanded, so it's going to look a lot different. But what I'm going for is to see how much two coats makes a difference, because it's an awful lot of work to spray and sand this whole thing. Okay, so yeah, of course, being unsanded it feels very coarse. So let's start with the wet and dry. Have a look here. There is, to my feel, a marked difference. I can feel my fingernail just sort of touching lots of lines as it goes along. On this side, there's a lot less. Whether it's worth doing the whole thing, I don't know. Anybody out there in YouTube land can tell me what the benefit of wet and dry is. I'm being told, and I'm not sure if it's true, that the slurry you create actually helps the sanding process. Certainly a lot of slurry, that's for sure. The big test of this will be with when I paint this piece. It certainly feels much smoother, which sort of makes sense, which is because that's what the spray paint is supposed to do. So what I'm going to do, dry this piece off thoroughly, and I'll leave it like it is and spray it just with some undercoat if I've got some, if not just some flat white, just so I can see the difference. Yeah, so I don't seem to have any undercoat, so I've just got some matte white here. Almost empty can. Okay. Ah! God. Got a snoot full of fumes there. Okay, so that's done matte white. As you can see, it didn't really cover it very good at the top. That's probably just me. There we go, that's a bit better. So when that's dry, I'll sand it again and see how we go. In the meantime, I've got all the other bits I put a light coating on yesterday. I'll do all them again. Right, well, so I'm going to get on and sand the rest of these things, regardless of how well the coat is, and then come back for a second coat if needs be. So I will see you soon. Guys, back again in sunny Australia. Right, now I've given all this an undercoat. Now I'm putting it back together because I have realised there's going to be areas like this that still need paint, so I've got to work out everything in it that I still need to touch up. And then once that's done, I'm not going to like put in the latches, the small parts, because they still need painting. But once I've got the basic body done, I've got the shell, I can then work out the masking and the colour scheme I want to do. Yeah, so I'll get on with that and I'll get back to you in a minute. Okay, running to the first problem, guys. The front end of the magazine release, this thing, was jamming as it came back in this, right? And at first I thought it was because the screws I'd used had gone through onto the bottom surface and therefore were hitting the front. So I cut a little bit away, not very well done, but it's not an easy thing to get to. But it's still happening, and then I realised it was the actual, this is the part that goes in there like that, but it's got a step in it, and that means there's a shelf in here, and the top surface of that shelf, that little bit there, was about half a millimetre too high, so it was just grabbing that lip as it came in. So I've scraped that down. I'm going to cut down those screws just to make sure that doesn't happen. And so when you're reassembling your one, be aware of this small problem. Alright, this little magazine release is going all the way in now, and it does grip just at the last moment, but I think it's just the two shapes moulding together, and it's fine. I just had to make sure I got the right spring in there, and I've got all my springs together, so I don't know which one it is. So that's going to be fun working that one out. What's it say? Oh, a 20. Okay. So that's done, I can continue. Okie dokie, guys. Got it back together, and immediately I can see lots of little spots that need touching up with the undercoat. It's very dark grey at the moment, but yeah, that'll change. But having fixed this is brilliant. I mean, his design is really well. All you've got to do is push back against it, and it falls out. I mean, that's pretty clever. You can also push it like that, and pull it out. But I think that's genius. Very clever fella, Rance. Okay, now for a coat of grey on it for all the spots I missed, and then we'll start with the painting. And I was doing some drawings last night, and I took some film, so I'll show you that and run through that while this is drying. Right, hey guys, one thing that occurred to me that in those mock-ups I didn't do the magazines, and that's just another place for some decoration. So I've done some quick ones in CorelDRAW and transferred them into my mod page, and as you can see I can just put them where I want and see what it looks like. Orange is a bit too bright, I think, and that same goes for the white, but I think the black with I think that one in that particular where is it? Here it is. In that particular colour scheme looks quite good. There's the other one which is a little less striking. The red and white stripes on a black background I think stands out more, which I quite like. On all of these drawings I haven't done the Picatinny rail at the top. That's going to be black metallic, and that'll be a gap under the whatever. Doesn't matter, it's not important. But yeah, I got carried away with quite a few different colour schemes. I quite like the second one actually, that one there. That looks alright. That doesn't look too bad either. The lighter colour, like the white, gives you a lot of space for dirtying and washing and stains and stuff. The darker colour lets you show up the metal wear a bit more. So, you know, sort of a trade-off what you want to do. I'm going to have to think about this a lot. Hi guys, Andy Work here. Alright, now I've done it again. I've got ahead of myself and not filmed this. So what I've been doing, I broke this blaster down. I painted all the bits white that need to be painted white, and that's got to be done again, obviously. All the bits black that need to be painted black, that's a metallic black. And I mixed up a very dark grey for my human interface parts, and I've also sprayed it on this surround here. So when I mask this, I'm going to actually make it look like it's a rubber insert, like put a little notch in the edge where it's attached, sort of thing, and just use paint to make that effect. So what I've got to do now is the white bits that are staying white, like this is actually going to be orange, but it's going to have white stencils on it, so I'm going to put my stencils on there first, then overspray it. Same goes for the this is all going to be white as well, but I've got to mask off these areas, and so areas that I want stencils and keep them in grey or whatever. Leave that white, and I'm going to put a stencil here that says Mode Execute Ready, for those who know Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because that's the on-off button. So I'll work on that. So basically it's a case now of putting stencils where they need to go, where I want to keep white or dark grey, and then spraying the next colour. So I'll get on with that, and I'll film it periodically as I go through. Right, hi guys. Just at my plotter, I'm just doing a test of all the shapes that I'm planning to put on this blaster. It's going to take a while because I've got a lot of graphics. I'll show you a quick image of what I've mocked up on the computer in a second. Here's the blaster design I've settled on. As you can see, I've done the dark grey earlier. I've already painted that. Painting other bits and pieces as I go along, and I'm just doing the plotter is just doing a mock-up on paper of the design. So I've got little graphics all over the place. The current vogue is, you know, some Chinese characters, make it look sort of multilingual, like a really combined society. Haven't measured or done the stuff for the magazine yet, but I will do. I am going to paint them after all. It sort of fits in with the whole concept of, you know, ultra occupational health and safety sort of thing. But okay, and in addition to this, there'll be my usual weathering and stuff, but I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to try a different method this time and just see how it works compared to my original. So once this is all printed and ready to go, I'll show you a bit of the applications. Right, hi guys, got ahead of myself again, but anyway. So here's all the white parts, been spraying them. This is the centre. The only part of this is visible is the magazine release, and this part here, which as you can see has some stencils on, and I've painted it orange. Here's the first bit I've unwrapped, the buttstock. Had to do a little bit of touch-ups. I put a white stripe on that, but it bled, the tape lifted at these corners, so I had to touch it up, and as you can see, touching it up has actually lifted paint off as opposed to putting it on, so I'm going to have to work out something there. Black bits up the back. I've marked the area I have to dry brush with metallic to make this look like a metallic internals. The butt only comes back to that line, so there's no need to do any of that. So that's good. Top side Picatinny, the human interfaces, handles. Even that could have something printed on it, because it's, you know, okay, it's supposed to be some sort of padded material, but still could have something printed on it. The top handle, and the actual main body is right here with bits of stuff stuck all over it. Great, that's just wizard. So that'll need a little bit of paint in a few spots that I still haven't got into, and I'll have to clean that off somehow. But yeah, so we're getting there very, very slowly. But I hope to have a fair amount of this painted by late today. This area here that actually has to be this orange. So once this white is fully touch dry, I'll just mask that bit, cut away this, and spray the sides of that as well, because I think it'll look good, because there's three sort of parts stacked on top of each other, and if the bottom one's not the same colour, it just doesn't sort of help blend it, for want of a better term. I pulled off one of the stencils and didn't come out too great, but the trouble with stencils is they will always lift, and there's always lots of touching up to do, so that's just what you've got to do. But as you can see, it's a bit of a dog's breakfast here at the moment, but I'm getting there. I now have to go and do, there's some Chinese text that Rance actually sent me that I'm going to put across here. However, what he sent me is not a JPEG. It's not the actual stencil cutting machine doesn't recognise it. I forget what he called it, what it was. So I've got to actually use it as a template, redraw it in CorelDRAW or something, then import it into the stencil cutter and then cut it. So that's going to be fun too. Okay, moving on. Right, hi guys. So as usual, getting ahead of myself again. Started unwrapping some of this stuff, and old stencils are getting everywhere. So I've been having some problems with the white, because my can started spluttering, so I had to go and buy a new one. There was plenty of paint in it, just there was no gas pressure behind it. So I'm pulling off the masking around. I did this grey rubberized sort of thing. Now obviously lots of touch-ups to do. What I'm going to do with these screws, if you can see them, is I'm actually going to paint the grey around it like it's part of what's holding on this rubber ring hand grip part. So I can hide that easy enough. Just getting off the tape without damaging the white too much is the problem. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but the weathering and the dirtying up is going to hide some of this, but I'll have to do a lot of touching up. And there's another, that's where the base of the handle comes in, so there's a couple of little corners there I've got to paint up. But, so that goes like that, roughly, if you can see that. Yeah, so, and as you can see, my stencil's lifted off there, and even worse on the other side, so I've got to paint that up again. But we've got that part. Now I've got the buttstock, which goes in something like, hang on, that goes in. Oh yeah, so that has to go in afterwards, right? Yep, okay. So that's got to go in first. So we've got the buttstock there. All these little things, just decoration by paint as opposed to anything else. Still a lot of bleeding. The orange was quite thick, so I'm going to have to, this is going to be hard because it's just going to have to, I'm going to have to use white paint to try and hide a dark colour, which is going to be a pain. But not too bad. Those of you who are clever and have recognised, that's actually a miniaturised version of my little logo that I recently done. I don't think I've even put it up on my YouTube or my Facebook page. So, okay, that's done. And okay, this one should be fun. Some more of these things. This should come out a lovely white. Yes, there we go. Oh God, look what I've done. This one, I put a stripe right down the centre of it to hold the pieces in place, and then I cut it out before I painted. I forgot to do it on that one. Oh dear. Oh, never mind. Oh, dopey me. Yeah, still a little bit of bleed through in a few places. Bit of cleaning up there needs to be done. But I'm going to have to do the old gentle scalpel stuff. Yeah, a lot of bleed through, unfortunately. So what I'll have to do is just use some very thick white Humbrol paint. A friend of mine who doesn't want me to use it because it's highly toxic. Apparently, I'm told. but it's got to be done, get the right effect. As a rough guide, that's what it's looking like so far. Not too bad, but got to put all some things in, and all the rest of the stencils. There's a whole lot of stencils to go. The magazines and all the human interface parts. Well, let's see how we go. Okay, back soon.